We're here at the Gherkin this sunny afternoon with some of Investment Week's closest friends and long-standing colleagues here at Incisive Media.
I've read it since day one. I sort of feel like I've sort of grown up with it.
I think Investment Week's been at the forefront of being relevant and topical for the investment professionals in the industry.
For me, Investment Week has been a really good counterpoint for the industry.
It's the one you want to be in, right? If you want to be in it, you want to be in this one.
25 years of excellent delivery in publications, in getting to us, whether it's in paper, whether it's getting just online.
25 years, I mean, it's just like, then where does it go?
Happy birthday, Investment Week!
You look very young for 25.
It's an amazing accolade, actually, not just for me personally, but for the business.
And I remember going back to day one, setting up the business, Tim asking me if I'd like to be a part of it. And I can remember saying, but Tim, I don't know anything about financial services. And he said, don't worry, you don't need to. You're a great salesperson, you'll be all right.
The first issue was it's so embedded in my memory today. So that was a stressful moment in time, because we were, one of the rules of old school print publishing was you always had to be on time. And yet we stretched and stretched our print deadlines to the absolute limit. And I ended up delivering the film by hand on the train about 8 hours late, but managed where we got out.
When I joined this business, I think I was employee number 13. So I joined this tiny little business in a really crappy office in central London, and we've grown and grown and grown and grown.
On my first day at Investment Week, I remember getting into the lift with Tim Weller and telling him that it was my first day, and he said, well, Investment Week is my baby. So from that day on, I felt a bit of pressure to make sure it was the best it could be.
We have lots of fond memories from those conferences, and it's how we all got to know each other in the industry. You meet your peers, your competitors, sales guys, fund managers that you wouldn't have seen, and it became how we all grew up learning about how the industry works. So, and it was absolutely fantastic.
I took over on Investment Week about eight years ago, and I think the big change for us has been the challenge and opportunity is dealing with the changes in the information needs of our readers. So, going from having a website there on the side, and it was the weekly magazine, where we get our news, to it really being sort of 24 hours a day, their information needs. It could be on any of our platforms that they want that, on the magazine, online, on social media. And that's a real big opportunity for the journalists, but also a challenge in trying to make sure we still cover the key areas.
The whole narrative's changed, hasn't it? I mean, going back, I go back to the beginning of my career, they were almost still chalking share prices up on a board and taking a picture of that.
When you think back of the changes in the industry over the last 25 years, I mean, obviously it has professionalised, but we've had some extraordinary times. I mean, clearly 2008, the financial crisis was just I hope, one-off, quite extraordinary. Equally, the 2000 to 2003 bear market, just because it was so long and grinding, and it just got worse and worse, that almost felt more horrible than 2008, because at least 2008 was horrible, but it was short, and then we kind of bounced back and learnt to tell the tale.
I think what we see mainly in this area is the shift away from ESG, ethical, environmental, sustainability-related investments being seen as just about being personal values, almost like it's optional, like what colour clothes you wear or something.
We've had dot-com bubble, the dot-com bust, a gradual shift away from active management towards passive, more cost-effective solutions for investors, and then more recently we've seen moves towards a greater focus on environmental and various sort of stewardship measures.
The ride through the dot-com boom and what happened post 9/11 with some of the sort of highlights, we then saw this bull market that just seemed to go on and on and on and on.
Change has been incredible. I think our business has grown up from a sort of cottage industry to a massive industry, systemically important, and a lot more focus on clients, which has been great. So I think that the client is the first. A lot more events around clients, and that's what's really changed over the last 25 years.
Fund managers and wealth managers and investment consultants are actually becoming one in the way they run their businesses. Most of them these days actually are fund managers by business model, and I think that is such a substantial change.
Which company did you not invest in 20 years ago that you wish you had them?
Did we not invest in 20 years ago?
That's a very good question. You should be doing my job.
Sorry.
No, please do.
Manchester United.
As an industry, we tend to wait to see whether a new idea is going to catch on. But as long as we've got partners like you to drive the change, then I think it will move.
You guys have been early, I would say, with focusing on things like sustainability, the ESG side, and diversity and inclusion.
Just watching the growth of Investment Week and across all of our platforms, across digital and our event, the amount of events we've run, and the launch of the Women In series that we've run just in the last couple of years. That's a really proud time. We're seeing lots of change in the city, and to feel that we're at the forefront of that change, as we were back in the late 90s, is really incredible, and it does give us enormous pride in the business to know that we can support the sector going through that.
Media departments all used to fight to have the front page of Investment Week, whichever story we could put out there. Of course, now on the online world, it's the emails, it's the flash, it's what's on the front of your website, and so it's a very, very different media environment now, and a much more fast-moving one as well.
My experience in Investment Week goes back to when I started in the industry, which is like some 17 years ago. It's always been one of the main publications, if not the number one publication that I read, and also the number one publication I want to get into as well.
Investment Week was the business that awarded us our first Manager Research Award, which made such a big difference to us. That was in 2016, and we owe a great deal, I must say, to Investment Week. It's been brilliant.
Back in the day, when Investment Week actually launched, I remember there's probably only 2 other titles, mostly focused around advice and sort of, pensions and regulatory and everything else. But Investment Week really broke the mould. And I remember that we always used to use the back of the mag to look for performance numbers.
I think our coverage of Brexit, which was, I think, for most people, we had no idea what was going to come next as the vote came in, and on that day, that morning after, what was happening. And some of the analysis we did around that I was very proud of. But then also more recently, the big campaign we've been doing to help improve diversity in the industry. We had our Women in Investment Awards last week, which is a very big event for us now, big flagship event, and hopefully it's inspired a lot of women in the industry, and it's helping to bring about real change and accelerate change in that part of the industry.
I'm absolutely delighted to see that Investment Week does have a dedicated section towards diversity, inclusion, belonging, and about people, about the talent agenda, because obviously that's a reasonably new addition, and it's really important that that agenda is central to the industry's overall successes and achievements, and it's not seen as separate. So I think that's really, really important that we continue that great work.
When Investment Week came on the scene, it was a wonderful new addition to our media environment.
We've been working with Investment Week for 25 years, right from the beginning, when Ian and Lawrence and the guys all started it up, so it's been quite a journey.
We're the best journalists in the trade, and we knock them out of the park week in, week out. And it's a daily now. It's a minute-by-minute product as opposed to just a weekly newspaper.
I think as long as they keep their content insightful and relevant, I haven't got too much to worry about.
And also creating a balanced argument, I think that's so important in journalism now.
It's been a real sort of hotbed of journalistic talent, I think, present, past and future, I'm sure, as well.
Ours is a complex industry. Whenever I talk to a journalist that's reasonably new, even if they're not new journalists, the first thing you need to do is learn to speak the language. So it is a complex business, and getting quality information, whether it's on a Q&A basis or a geography or a certain asset class, and having the relevant people hopefully offer interesting views for your readers, I still think is very important.
What runs through the publication is obviously a dedication to high quality journalism, but at the same time really being at the centre of the industry and working with so many of my clients in the past.
It is a people business, and it's great that you can come here and meet so many, colleagues, former colleagues, friends that you've made in the industry. It is a people business, and that's what makes it fun.
Now, I'm glad you're celebrating the sector, but also the people.
And it's just been so much fun. I mean, what an industry! Such lovely people, and we've laughed and laughed.
25 years is a huge amount of time. Going forwards, who knows how much technology is going to change this game. What's going to be important going forwards is the human touch, how humans interact with one another, but what we can always be differentiated as investors, as people, is how we interact with one another, how we look after investors, and how we do the right thing for them through the cycle to enrich them.
We're going to have to adapt to all the new technologies coming in, the new platforms coming in, a lot more younger readers coming in, and how we meet their needs. And I think it's still very important to get out and meet as many readers as we can, and see what they want, and keep talking to them and find out that we're still doing that. So that'll be the big challenge going forwards for the next 25 years.
There's a certain independence which is required, a sort of fair judgment on the story, which I think is otherwise quite easily biased. So you have a very wide coverage, not only in terms of the stats, but also getting figureheads to speak on various topics, and I think it's a very nice publication overall.
The best thing I've been to is the Funds to Watch conference. I've always liked that. Part of what we're trying to do is find the next £1 billion fund before it is that size. So it's a great event. We've been to it a number of times to actually see a wide range of what could be the next big funds for the industry.
And it remains to this day, doesn't it, a real bastion, in the publishing sector of the industry. So, job well done.
Keep doing what you're doing, keep going strong, and look forward to the 50th.
Happy birthday, Investment Week!
I hope that in another 25 years' time you'll just be as relevant as you are today, 25 years since you first published.
Happy birthday, Investment Week. You've done a great job, and please do continue in the future because we need you.
I didn't think we'd get this far. It's been amazing. It's been amazing.